Tonight on Johnny's Prime, pressure mounts on the police to bring closure to the case of the community nurse who is believed to have been gang raped and murdered. The grief-stricken husband of the deceased nurse is one of those demanding swift action. Elsewhere, the disappearance of a 15-year-old boy at Klagong in the Tema West municipality has left residents terrified. Authorities at the Jusuman Senior High School, where 7 females were expelled over a viral video, have been criticized for the sanction.
They are exhibiting behavior that is contrary to the behavior that we expect any student to exhibit. It is our responsibility to ensure that they acquire the normal behavior that is expected of them.
In business.
Vice President announces at rebranding of Barclays to Absa, government is tightening the noose around those who avoid paying taxes.
We have embarked on leveraging technology to overcome many of our developmental problems and to formalize this informal economy.
I'm Israel Lai, and Joy News Prime comes to you live from the Joy News studio here in Accra with digital address GA099-25389, where we're celebrating 25 years of broadcasting excellence. Do stay tuned in. Pressure is mounting on the police to bring closure to the case of the community nurse who was allegedly raped and murdered. Though the police in the Ashanti region have arrested 2 suspects in connection with the case, husband of the deceased and social media campaigners want swift prosecution of the perpetrators. Ruth Eshan, a mother of 3, failed to return home after close of work last week, only for a lifeless body to be found a few meters from her house the following day. She was a community health nurse stationed at Seria Health Center in the Ashanti region. Her grief-stricken husband, Kwejo Ahin, is yet to come to terms with the gruesome murder of his wife.
Ahin, the official name is Ruth Amaishan. She's a nurse. She's a principal community nurse. She works at Seria Health Center. And she's married with 3 children. The last born is just about 2 years ago. And I am her husband. She's a very good woman, very loving, very friendly, and very accommodating. Everybody in this community can testify to this. So, I have lost a very good wife.
How did you receive the news?
I was looking for my wife when she didn't return home. So in the night, I didn't sleep. I roamed through Kumasi. I moved from emergency hospitals to police stations all around. So I was at Menchia Hospital. I received a call. First, I was told that they found the ID card and a checkbook just in a bush about 150 meters from our house. After that call, within 5 minutes, I received another call asking me to quickly come home. I was even trying to understand whether my wife has been killed, but they wouldn't tell me. Just after that call, a third one came with somebody crying on the phone. Obiakum Ruto, Obiakum Ruto, Obiakum Ruto. Then I realized that my wife has been murdered. So that's how I received it.
How do you feel about this?
I don't know whether I can describe how I feel. But I feel very sad. I don't think I can find a substitute of my wife. There's no way. Even when you are angry, you're fighting with her. She'll tell you about you.
Closer, please. Closer.
So as I indicated earlier, 2 persons have been arrested in connection with the case. Meanwhile, the Ashanti Region Security Council is cautioning residents, especially women, to be cautious as incidents of murder increase. 2 women have so far been killed by unknown assailants, with the latest being the nurse found dead over the weekend. 5 other incidents involving women were also recorded last year. Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah disagrees that incidents form a trend, but says investigations are underway. He reveals police and military patrols have been increased even as the authorities work on installing lights in dark-lit areas.
The region is safe. Once in a while you experience these things all over the world. I don't think we have a country or city that will say that for maybe 10 years, 3 years, there won't be any crime. The most important thing is that we should be able to reduce it to the barest minimum, if not eliminating it at all. The crime rate as compared to previous years is come down. It's unfortunate that we experience such a crime and then happening to a nurse. The police is still investigating the case, and when they come out with the final report, I can give you full briefing as to what happened. So we are pleading to especially the ladies that they should be careful. Somebody comes for you in the night, wherever the person takes you to, you are not aware, and that person can do anything to you. So they have to be extremely careful.
But that trend has been identified, that women are getting.
No, I cannot say it's any serious trend. How many did we experience last year or 2017?
5.
No, those things they said 5, they were not actually 5. Some were different issues. If for instance, I have a problem with my wife, and then I kill my wife, you can see it's part of the trend. We are talking about the 2 that were killed outside around Abripo. Somebody who killed the wife, shot the wife. Can you attribute it to maybe such type of killing? No. So it was actually 2, and the 2 happened at the same place.
Elsewhere, residents of Klagong in the Tema West municipality say the disappearance of a 15-year-old boy, Benjamin Tete Oklu, from the area has put them in a state of fear. The children especially say they do not feel safe. The teenager left home to play football on a community park on January 31 and has since not returned. Search by family and loved ones in the last 10 days has yielded no results. The community members are calling on police in the area to do more in helping find the missing child. Kwame Yanka's report read to you.
Wearing red bands, some residents chanted war songs before expressing their dismay. For these residents, the disappearance of Benjamin Tete Oklu has affected the entire community. Many of them feel unsafe. A search for the boy since January 31 has yielded no results.
And we've been looking for him, but we can't find him. So we beg anybody who has seen him somewhere and the person doesn't know where to send him, please take him to the nearest police station. We beg you, we miss him and we've been looking for him, so please help us find him.
9 days, you know, they say me a grandma, or from area hanging a Kodan, from me grandma. And the boy bent away or baby to my grandma, good morning, good afternoon. And since last week, you know, Friday, Bessie said, I need to me dance.
We can't sleep. It's been difficult. We are really scared because we've been here for a long time. We walk around late, go to church and return safely. We don't feel secured. We can't even allow our children to go out and play.
Mother of the boy, Emma Bosompra, tells Joy News she is frustrated and not happy with the police's handling of the matter.
We've been walking around from Pung to the GTP runabout. We've been roaming.
Police force
As for the police, they asked me to come on Tuesday, but I didn't. So they followed up with a call, but I told them I was not encouraged by their actions.
No, sister,
but they asked me to come and they assigned a CID to the case.
And now, Osambe trauma, no musem bio. And now, Omami Nama say, Beba, Namiti say, Obi say, Wati Akolani Kawa Babia, main friend Lionel.
The residents are, however, keeping their fingers crossed with the hope of finding Ben alive. Meanwhile, the police has declined to comment on the matter for now. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy News.
Now, what a driver decides to do when he experiences a tire burst could be the difference between life and death. Director of Education and Research of the Motor Transport and Traffic Department, Alexander Bing, says applying the vehicle's brakes is not advisable. He also advises motorists to regularly check the pressure of their vehicle's tires. His comments come on the back of the Dominance accident over the weekend, which claimed 3 lives. The vehicle reportedly veered off the road after it burst a tire and landed in a ditch, trapping some of the passengers. Before we hear from the Director of Education and Research at MTTD, Maxwell Agbagba reports on the 2 accidents which occurred over the weekend in the Central and Ashanti regions.
Capsize was on the left side of the road, and there were other vehicles parked on the right. I think they were trying to help the victims. We stopped and we managed to get 3 into the buckets of our pickup and 3 at the back seat. So I took 6 to the nearby health post, which is at Peposo, Dunkwao. The driver and his mates were at the health post, so I asked them what was the cause. He said that the back tire got burst, so he lost control, and apparently there was someone who was sitting on the side, on the passenger seat. I think the passenger panicked, and he went to hold the steering wheel, which made them go off the road.
The Central Region Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Abdul Wasiu Hudu, says some persons who tried to rescue those trapped in the mangled vehicle were attacked by bees.
We were able to remove the 2 who were dead in the vehicle out of there. The 2 persons died at the spot, and they were handed over to the police service. Our men were attacked by the bees when they were trying to rescue. You know, the vehicle veered off the road and went into the bush. So when they went in to remove the bodies from the vehicle, then the bees
explains what happened in that accident.
The Land Cruiser, which was on its right course, which had the right of way, bumped into the taxi, killing 3 persons on the taxi, and 1 person sustained serious injury and is receiving treatments at the Akuse Government Hospital. An Okada rider who was carrying 4 school kids on board, similar to the earlier accident, also failed to observe basic traffic regulation and also suddenly entered the lane of the Good Samaritan, who was driving a Toyota Prado vehicle carrying one of the injured persons in the earlier accidents. So the Prado also rammed into the Okada, killing one of the passengers who was a school kid on board. The rider of the Okada also sustained serious injury and was referred to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital for further treatment, but unfortunately, he has also passed on.
Now, Chief Superintendent Alexander Obing says a lot of fatalities could be avoided if drivers are educated on what to do in emergency situations.
Take your leg off the accelerator pedal, and you should continuously have full grip of the steering wheel and have full visibility of traffic. And when I say have full grip of the steering wheel, it means that one of the hand is not disengaged, and proud to the where the vehicle, the tire got burst, you were not in excessive speeding situation. In all this, keep to your lane, don't slam the brakes, have full grip of the steering wheel, and then take your leg off the accelerator and try as much as possible at the same time that you have full grip and controlling the vehicle. You begin to maneuver with your gear. Try as much as possible. That's where your concentration will be. Once you have full grip, and you try as much as possible to change from the higher gear to the bottom gear. Let's also understand that all these can be done simultaneously, but never try to slam the brake. Allow the engine to run to a halt.
We've had instances where you find drivers driving vehicles on the road with the tires completely worn out. Some of them also, the tires very smooth, making it very difficult for friction to actually take place when they, apply the brakes or anything. We want to find out from you, what is the proper care that drivers can give to their car tires?
The safer tire per our safety requirement is a tire that is not manufactured for more than 4 years by the tire manufacturer, and to know that the tire is not old, the date of manufacture, the date on which the tire was manufactured is embossed on the tire. And I'll give an example on, if you want to know how old the tire is. You only get the date of manufacturing, and the date of manufacturing is numbered in weeks and year. Every year has 52 weeks. So if a tire is manufactured in, let's say, today, and today, it's on the, I think, 9th? Yeah. 9th of, February. And it happens to be the 6th week of 2020. So a tire manufactured everywhere in the world by any tire manufacturing plant will emboss it 0620.
You want to enjoy news from we're taking a break, but still ahead. Authorities at the Jusuman Senior High School, where 7 female students were expelled over viral video, have been criticized for the sanction.
They are exhibiting behavior that is contrary to the behavior that we expect any student to exhibit. It is our responsibility to ensure that they acquire the normal behavior that is expected of them.
Residents of Ejisu Amin are calling for strict disciplinary measures to tackle students and teacher in discipline. Do stay tuned in. We'll be back in a bit. Now, residents of Ejisu are calling for strict disciplinary measures to tackle student and teacher indiscipline at the Jusuman Senior High School, where 7 female students have been expelled from the boarding house for misconduct. The 7 females could be seen in videos that have gone viral on social media advocating liberal sex. The incident, which the school authorities say has brought them shame, comes on the back of another scandal involving sexual misconduct on the part of teachers in 2018. Ohiming Teria has more.
Ejusuman Senior High School came under the spotlight 2 years ago after 8 female students broke their silence and accused teachers of sexually abusing them after a leaked video went viral. They accused the teachers of making advances at them, to the extent some being forced to stroke the manhood of their teachers. Ghana Education Service, upon investigations, dismissed 4 teachers and transferred 4 others. But it appears the ghost of that scandal will later haunt the school, as some female students in yet another viral video put the school's name in the news again. Female students justified having multiple sexual partners and condemned girls who refused to have sex with men in the latest viral video. One of them is seen encouraging other girls to sleep with men for monetary reward. Unhappy about the conduct of the students, school authorities has expelled them from boarding house. Residents have condemned misconduct action of the students and teachers who bring the school and community name into disrepute.
I'm really concerned about it. I mean, it's pathetic, such things happening in our schools. Jusuman is one of the best schools in Ejisu. So when we hear about these kind of things, our children making such comments on social media, we become worried. We are really worried about such situations. Well, I'm really concerned about the authorities of the school. This is not the first time it has happened, and as repeatedly, it tells you the kind of disciplinary measures that has been put in this school.
I'm much concerned about what is going on. Previously, Ejusman was having a good name, and then nowadays, the way and the manner things are going at Ejusman is becoming unbecoming. Looking at the issues concerned about the indiscipline in the school. So as a good citizen, I'll urge the school authorities so that they will put good measures in place, or they will apply the necessary sanction to those perpetrators, so that no one will go and do same to tarnish the image of the school. Because looking at what is happening, it seems things are not going well. I think the school handlers should sit down and do something better.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Education Service has declined comment until it exhausts all available disciplinary avenues. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohimi Interior reporting.
Well, the school authorities have been criticized over the decision to expel the girls from the boarding house. According to the school authorities, the guardian of the affected students consented to the decision to expel the girls for using a mobile phone in school. But Executive Director of the Child Rights International, Bright Appiah, believes the school erred in its decision.
It is about investigating the matter, find the right diagnosis, the symptoms of this behavior, and then prescribe rehabilitation programs for them. For me, that is what it is.
Isn't that what the school did with the initial investigation?
They did not. They did not. And even if you see the kind of, they said they are organizing counseling services for the school, not necessarily about the children, but they are rather organizing counseling services for the rest of the students who are in school. And for me, if you engage the services of any clinical psychologist, would tell you that it is not appropriate way of dealing with this matter by engaging the service of a counselor for the school and not those who have committed the offense. I think that there is something wrong. Again, it comes back to the issue of the parents sitting down with the school to agree. It should send a signal even to the school authorities that there's a relationship issue between the students and their parents, that they even have to have interest in addressing that issue, because you have not done anything in relation to the state of the children. You've not done anything in relation to the state of the children. All you are interested in is the dignity of the school and how the school's name has been protected and all that. But these are students that we are making investments. The taxpayers' money is being used to train these children. So if they are exhibiting behavior that is contrary to the behavior that we expect any student to exhibit, it is our responsibility to ensure that they acquire the normal behavior that is expected of them. And that, for me, is what they fail to do. But in this case, I don't think that punishment is the best option.
In another development, the National Inspectorate Board under the Ministry of Education says it continues to receive reports and videos of corporal punishment, even though it has been outlawed. Speaking to some observations made from inspection of close to 448 institutions since September 2019, Executive Secretary Dr. Haggard Hilda Mpedu called for positive discipline over bodily harm. She was speaking at a news conference in Accra.
There are better ways that we can discipline our children other than making physical pain on them, which are going to leave them with emotional and psychological scars for the rest of their life. So the policy that is out there, which I hope most of you have copies, is for positive discipline of a child. And the approach is to have a participatory approach, involve the child, let them know what they did wrong, and explain to them what they can do better the next time. It promotes mutual respect. It also involves the learners in setting the values that are to be observed. We, as a standard-setting agency, wants to believe that this is a standard that has been set by the ministry on how learners should be disciplined should they have done something wrong. And we urge the general public, especially the school leadership and school owners, to go by this policy in disciplining learners that have been put in their care at their various schools. We hope that the incidents of where videos, etc., are being sent to us of learners having physical harm to their bodies will reduce drastically. And we urge all of us to be each other's keeper. And if we were in the same situation, we would have wanted to be treated differently. That we hope that we'll get the necessary response that we need for that. So that is the NIB's stance on corporal punishment.
She revealed discussions are ongoing to revise the current policy on use of phones in senior high schools.
A necessary evil because technology is good for learning, but how to manage this is becoming a very thorny issue now. We live in a new age where we have new problems that we didn't anticipate. So currently the agencies involved, the Ghana Education Service, ourselves and other key agencies and owners of private schools who are supposed to have a stake in this are meeting to come up with what needs to be done, because there are various schools of thought on what needs to be done. Some are saying mobile phones are good, the children should have access to it. Others are saying they are not. But when all these key stakeholders come together, I'm sure we'll come up with what needs to be done and publish it so that we all know which road to go.
Now, one of the problems some patients have with health facilities in the country is the quality of care delivered. This raises questions about the kind of training these health personnel receive and how committed they are to their call. For this reason, newly opened health facility Lena House Clinic says it is high time patients got better care. With this ultra-modern facility, the clinic is expected to help improve quality of healthcare in the country. Medical Director of Lena House Clinic, Dr. Kwekwe Friye, disclosed this after the recent opening at Community 9 in Tema.
One of the crucial elements in healthcare is the availability of modern equipment. With its experienced personnel, Lena House Clinic says it is here to augment existing facilities and improve on-service delivery. The clinic would focus on family and occupational health, dentistry, ultrasound, electrocardiogram, among other services. The facility is currently working around the clock to provide 24-hour service very soon. Dr. Kwekwe Friye is Medical Director of Lena House Clinic.
We also have the various facilities that other clinics may not have. As you can see, a well-stocked pharmacy, an ultra-modern laboratory, and also if you come up here to the clinic, we are well organized, and we can also do booking for patients so that our clients, when they come, they don't have to wait for long hours to get treatment. Those who want to go back to work quickly, we can arrange so that when you come, you are seen quickly, you can go back to work. This is not what happens in other clinics. If you want to check your blood pressure or blood sugar, you don't have to sit at the clinic for 3 hours or 5 hours because of congestion, just to do simple tests like that.
Chief Executive Officer of Lena Health Services, Richard Odo, assures prospective clients of quality service.
Designed and fashioned to help people within the Tema metropolis as well as the rest of Ghana to access healthcare in an environment of serenity and respect, where their medical needs as well as their healthcare needs will be completely taken care of. So we are here to inaugurate this facility and also to let everyone know that we are here to serve them and to help them keep their health in good shape. Well, certainly this facility has many units. We have units in terms of those who are taking care of directly of the patients. We have the labs, we have the scans. So in terms of job creation, we're creating a lot of jobs. We have 3 doctors in this facility for now. We have a dentist, and then we have biomedical scientists, pharmacists, and many nurses. So in terms of job creation, we have created jobs. And we are affiliated with Topper Pharmacy, which has almost 100 employees. And we're hoping that this facility will grow and we'll even employ more people, as it were. Now, the message we have for them is that certainly We are here to serve them. We know that there are healthcare challenges. There have been instances where people go to health facilities, they have to spend hours waiting to see their doctors. Some also go and they are even not able to see the doctors because the specific difficulties that they might be having in terms of health, it's not being catered for by a particular healthcare facility. But we are here to do a holistic care. So here you come and we make sure we are efficient. You wouldn't have to wait too long. So their health needs to be taken care of and they can rely on us to help them accomplish that.
Meanwhile, Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Felix Ananla says governments will continue to support the private sector.
When you go out there, you get them. All the industries are there and all the businesses in the port areas are there. And I'm going to connect them, some of the industries myself, so that it will make them vibrant. I want to assure the people of Tema that His Excellency the President still have them in mind concerning issues of healthcare. And we will continue to support the private sector. We'll support them in whatever they will need so that we establish more private healthcare facilities. Like I said earlier, which will create a whole lot of other businesses within the community.
Lina Services is looking to expanding beyond Tema.
We're taking a break here on Journey's Time to bring you business. But coming up in business, Vice President announces a rebranding of Barclays to ABSA. Government is tightening the rules around those who avoid paying taxes.
We have embarked on leveraging technology to overcome many of our developmental problems and to formalize this informal economy.
Stay tuned in, we'll be back in a bit. Right, it's time for business, and Sandra is here. Hello, Sandra.
Ago. ABSA Bank is here.
So Barclays is not ABSA.
Exactly, we'll be talking about that. And the news is that from next year, it may be difficult for people who want to avoid paying taxes to do so because the system is going to change.
All right.
And I'll be telling you more about that in business. Celebrating 25 years of joy, I am Sandra Esinamap and I'm here for business. The National Identification Card will become the main source of tax identification. This is expected to happen after the Ghana Revenue Authority completes merging existing national ID numbers and the tax identification number by the end of this year. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia disclosed this at the rebranding of Barclays Bank to ABSA Ghana. George Viafe was there for Joy Business and has the rest of the story.
After months of talk, commercials, interviews, the press releases and the commercials, ABSA is now here with us at an event today graced by Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, the Group Chief Executive of ABSA and the Managing Director of ABSA Ghana. They all highlighted what we should expect, knowing that Barclays Ghana has been rebranded at ABSA. The Vice President in his speech talked about the fact that very soon the national ID that you hold will be used as a tax identification number.
Currently, less than 2 million people are registered to pay taxes. But by the end of this year, we will start converting all the national ID numbers into tax identification numbers, which means we will increase the number of people registered for taxes de facto from about 2 million to close to 16 million in 1 year.
The Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, was also full of praise for ABSA in terms of being the industry first with a lot of things that have taken place in the banking industry. One can talk about meeting the minimum capital requirement and even the new vertical debit cards and credit cards that are yet to be introduced in the country.
Today, February 10, 2020, another landmark, as ABSA becomes the first bank to introduce vertical debit and credit cards to enhance the functionality of scheme cards in Ghana.
The Group Chief Executive of ABSA also talked about how Ghana can be described as a favorable investment destination. He said this is testament to actually the recent Eurobond that was subscribed by investors across the world.
Backed by our asset base of around $90 billion, ABSA seeks to contribute to Ghana and Africa's economic transformation. Our commitment includes investing in initiatives that support financial inclusion for African citizens, financing African exporters through trade finance, contributing to infrastructure financing initiatives, and general advisory services that we provide to both the private and the public sector.
For the managing director of ABSA Ghana, Abdul Opoku, she says that they will continue to support small and medium-sized enterprise as they devote a significant part of their loan book to those small businesses out there.
We've had discussions around how they prepare their bench strength, how they groom their children and successors. We support them on how to better manage their books. So we're looking at it more broadly, because as a bank, to your point, yes, we have been supporting SMEs, but we're just taking it to the next level.
So you've heard them, from the group chief executive to the managing director and the directors of communications and brand change, about us promising customers, the general public, and even you and I, about improved service offerings. But would they indeed live up to this? We are watching the market space to see what ABSA would bring to the banking space. My name is George Yafe, reporting for Joy Business.
Thanks so much, George Yafe, for that report. Now, South African diplomat Wamkele Mene has been elected as first Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Secretariat. So who is he? Here's a short profile for you. Wamkele Mene is South Africa's former head of mission to the World Trade Organization. The 40-year-old was elected from the 3 shortlisted candidates that were presented to the heads of states of the African Union prior to the 33rd Ordinary Session in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Mene was the chief negotiator of South Africa when the negotiations on the Continental Free Trade Agreement began 2 years ago. As part of his assignment, he will lead the administrative process of the Secretariat and also manage the Secretariat for smooth implementation of the most ambitious trade agreements in Africa. He is expected to begin work in Accra next month prior to the full implementation of the program. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo says government has begun talks with real estate firms to provide residential accommodation for staff of the Continental Free Trade Secretariat. The move, according to him, is part of commitment to ensure requirements agreed with the African Union are provided before full implementation. The president was speaking at the 33rd Ordinary Session of the African Union Heads of State in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
As you know, on the 7th of July 2019, at the extraordinary meeting of the Assembly of the African Union in Niamey, capital of the Republic of Niger, Ghana was honored with the historic responsibility of hosting the Secretariat of the AFCFTA. We were directed to work with the AU Commission to ensure an expeditious and efficient process of establishing a permanent Secretariat for the AFCFTA in Accra by the 31st of March this year. To this end, Ghana has undertaken the following activities, which I would like to state for the record. Firstly, the reconfiguration of the office premises based on the specific requirements agreed with the AU Commission, including the installation of critical data and IT infrastructure facilities, security systems, office furnishing, and corporate branding of the AFCFTA office complex. Secondly, the acquisition and furnishing of the residence of the Secretary General of AFCFTA, based on the requirements agreed with the AU Commission. Thirdly, the initiation of negotiations with real estate companies for residential accommodation for other AFCFTA staff. Fourthly, the finalization of arrangements of health and educational facilities for AFCFTA management and staff. And finally, securing a dedicated booth at the Kotoka International Airport, Accra, to facilitate entry and exit requirements of AFCFTA officials, as well as representatives of member states who will be conducting official business with the Secretariat. In addition, the government of Ghana sponsored 6 different meetings of the AFCFTA in December 2019 in Accra.
That's all for the first part of business. My name is Sandra Esinam Akanamba.
In Uttar Pradesh, due to cold weather and snowfall in India, the city of Nagaland witnessed a surprise snowfall last year, the first in over 40 years, and Bihar's capital Patna recorded its second coldest day in a decade. 2 days later, Delhi recorded its coldest December day when the maximum temperature dipped to 9.4 degrees Celsius, 11.4 degrees Celsius below normal. On the last day of the year, some 3 areas also recorded extremely cold day temperatures, 15.2 degrees Celsius below normal. The current cold spell is likely to heighten cold waves in a country already experiencing frequent cold waves in recent years. Joy News' Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin was in New Delhi and describes the situation there as getting worse with each passing day.
Early morning here in New Delhi, citizens are readying for work. Heavy fog with cold waves sweeps through the entire city. At about 3 p.m., I took a walk through the city and outside air temperature hasn't changed much. These Indians, a few among many, gather at various points of the streets to warm themselves up. They spend much time on this to keep their body warm each passing day. It is the only way to survive the cold weather.
और पेंटर, कारपेंटर और सारे मिस्त्री और अपना काम धंधा, मेहनत मजदूरी, पैसा कमाना, अपना साफ सफाई.
Painters, carpenters and laborers work hard here to earn money to feed their families. We care about cleanliness. We come together here and we are happy with each other. Men and women are happy. Long live India.
मनी सब कुछ ही होता है. मनी के लिए सब अपना काम धंधा कर लेते हैं. जो मिल जाता है उसी में गुजारा है. बाकी मस्त एकदम. हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद. मस्त एकदम. झकास सारे मर्द. मस्त एकदम. झकास. खुश.
So let me just show you something right now. I mean, I'm currently in my hotel room and I'm just gonna show you something right now. Even in my hotel room, I would have to on the sun flame to be able to get a better weather condition here to be able to sleep. I mean, you can see just right now outside, it's not easy at all. So what I'm doing here is to be able to heat the room so that I would be able to sleep. I mean, the temperature here is quite different, but I still have to on this. When you go outside, you're getting a different temperature out there. I mean, the outside air temperature is very, very worse.
In 2017, the country recorded 276 cold wave incidents, the highest since 1980. It was 200 the next year, as per Envistat's 2019 report released by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. The 2-year account for nearly half of all the cold wave events recorded between 1980 and 2018. A cause for concern due to the deadly impact. During the 39-year till 2018, cold waves have killed over 8,000 people, almost 200 a year. Over the period, cold waves have killed more people than heat waves in India.
See, just before the winter season started in India, the India Meteorological Department gave a forecast.
Richard Mahapatra is a senior researcher with Center for Science and Environment in India. He says guidelines are essential for laying down broad framework for state government to prepare action plans to mitigate the impact. They are, however, not forthcoming.
They are experiencing one of the deadliest winter. But cold waves have not got the attention like any other disasters. We have guidelines, we have programs for heat waves. We don't have the same for the cold waves, but it's going to be more now. In fact, if you look at the last decade, cold waves have killed more people than heat waves. In the last 40 years, in many years, cold waves have killed more than heat waves. But we don't have a national program. So the point is that we need to accept first that it is a disaster. And cold wave impacts both the economy and the people. The people definitely, we know the health impacts and other related issues. It does impact agriculture. And during the cold wave time, we have standing winter crops, which are primarily cash crops. So that's why it's a very crucial economic activity.
Surprisingly, 23 states have action plans for heat waves, none for cold waves. Mr. Mahapatra says none of these states consider cold waves as a natural disaster. He says India cannot continue to overlook the impact of cold waves.
So we don't have national programs on that because we don't accept the fact. Though we have some guidelines around crops and there are states which do give some reliefs when the crops get damaged, but there is no national program on it. So we need to do that, and particularly at a time when extreme events like cold wave, heat waves are going to be the new normal. Then also it involves, if it's going to be a new normal, it's also fundamentally we have to rethink the way we interact with weather and seasons. We have to think about cooling, we have to think about heating, and bringing in those kind of fundamental change in our houses, in our institutions, everywhere, including in the way we do agriculture. So that's not happening definitely. Yes, debates are around, but we need to be more proactive with this.
Scientists say despite average global temperature rising, cold waves with extreme weather events of the winter, there is cause for concern. A 2017 study report published in Nature says by the end of the 21st century, both rare cold and heat events are likely to increase over India. Northern part of the country is likely to expect larger changes than other parts of the country.
Now, Ghana is among 5 other countries learning how to fight complex crimes on the high seas. An 8-day rigorous training under the Maritime Domain Awareness course will equip officers to easily detect and stop terror attacks, piracy, and illegal fishing. The ECOWAS Multinational Maritime Coordination Center at the Christian Bokasolosu is where the action unveils. Amiesi Nyamiche Thompson has more in this report.
The United Kingdom is partnering ECOWAS on this course, according to stakeholders. The approach will be a game changer in fighting crime on the high seas. Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Senegal, and Togo, known as the Zone F countries, will work together to fight maritime crime through monitoring, coordination, and the sharing of information with law enforcement agencies. Deputy Defense Minister Derek Odro is excited about Ghana's participation.
You know, Gulf of Guinea is now so porous. We can have pirates, smugglers, oil bunkering, and so many other crimes on the sea. And therefore, there's a need for those stakeholders, all those who have something to do with the sea, to come together, train together, share ideas, communicate together, and then you share information to get rid of the bad guys on the sea.
The United Kingdom is bringing on board experts and other resources to support the process. Commissioner Ian Walker spoke to Joy News.
Our role here has been to support in a modest way some of the facilities here, and equally importantly, or arguably more importantly, ensure that we are developing the partnership between our countries by bringing out our own experts, our own military, navy personnel, our own coast guards, our own police forces, to share experiences and to make sure that we're all learning from each other in the process. So it matters.
Director of the UK Maritime Trade Information Centre, Steve Smith, is an expert in high sea crimes.
Hopefully the team members here can learn from our experience. We can give them examples of procedures, we can give them an opportunity to go through some theme-based exercises so they can develop their own skills.
Commander Yusuf Benning is Acting Director of the ECOWAS Multinational Maritime Coordination Center.
We are learning how to interpret weather and then also share that information with the maritime shipping community so that they are able to prepare and then go about their businesses at sea safely without fear of getting into.
All these technology is up to date?
Yes, these are latest technologies for monitoring activities at sea. There are other forms that we are hoping to get. These are just the basic. We are hoping with time we acquire more of different systems so that you can pick information from here, pick a little bit from here, and then fuse it together. That will enable you to have the complete understanding of what is going on.
Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson, reporting for Joy News.
The residents of Adenta Snitfla here in Accra are worried about the increasing number of burglaries and break-ins as a result of poor lighting in their neighborhood. In the last month alone, over 6 cases have been reported with people's homes and vehicles broken into. These residents tell my colleague Komla Adom the lack of street lights coupled with the absence of police patrols is providing cover for such miscreants. And he joins me live from Adenta. Hello, Komla. What more are you able to tell us about the security situation there in Adenta?
Okay, so we're currently here at the Snitz Flats at Adenta, one of the lanes here in the flats. And for those of you who know Adenta very well, the Snitz Flats is a very vast, expanse of landmass with apartments occupied by many individuals. So here at, one of the flats, you can see the stretch. I don't know if it is visible enough. The stretch all the way down there has many individuals living in the apartment to your right and to your left, all the way down the street. Now, the complaints by many residents who live around here is that the poor lighting system around this area enables burglars, thieves and robbers to come in and attack. And so individuals are unable to walk around these parts during the night because of poor visibility and, of course, the malfunctioning of the street lights. Let me speak to one of the individuals who lives here to give us an account of exactly what the situation is around here. Thank you very much.
Yo.
I see you are coming from work around this time. Are you not scared that there are no street lights, you could be attacked?
Oh, no. But the one thing is that the place they killed this guy. I say light, is very bad. I just say, also the one thing is area no more bad attack.
Okay.
Because I am
So he says, I have to say, Israel, that a 38-year-old man was killed last month, exactly a month ago, around this place by name Maxo Agama. Now he is telling me about this young man and saying that around where the young man was killed, the lighting system around the area is poor, and also these robbers take advantage of the quiet nature of the neighborhood to carry out these attacks. Now, matise handbags, my handbags, and so the phones, yes, snatch, a man for cars, or mututu car tape near the.
Oh yeah, on the room, sir. Because I say one say, even Ufa Road is what they call community park in Swasco, or I say, oh, Kwano be monitor. So I say, oh, bag in the boat, no issue. Be more the second base also to be the no waji. And at times so cars is what and I don't know maybe a car, no move to car battery. And also the one thing says so move to no car for beyond to me MP because we are slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's just giving us an account that the burglaries continue to happen. People continue to report about their vehicles being broken into, their car tapes, the batteries are stolen, and sometimes these happen in the full glare of daylight. And once this happens, you're unable to get help because when you scream for help, you are likely not to even get help. Na a municipal assembly for no, omo aba area how many say light street light problem no. No problem. Say no more arrange ya fix it.
Yeah, omo ya aware pa because omo no the one thing is say, who report become omo back. What I say. It is like baby omo opposite some school be one friend Froba school. Some church be or crowd. That was evening time. I come for to be real church or me moto. To see can see security no so security no journey. Into almost so I to me community.
All right, thank you very much. So he's just telling me that even though the municipal assembly office is just a few meters from where we stand, there's not been much from the assembly to ensure that the security situation here is beefed up and also the lighting situation is improved around here. He tells me about the fact that someone was attacked at knife point and their motor seized sometime this month. And so that's the security situation here at the Adenta flats. One person has been killed and many others continue to suffer attacks and burglaries at the hands of miscreants under the cover of darkness here.
That'll be all for the bulletin.